was a bomb scare on the Tottenham Court Road. We're completely blocked in. We just had to sit there.
Yes, we heard about it, but there's no problem. Everything is ready. Frankly, we're grateful to have you at all.
But, Mr. Lindsay, there's no escaping the fact that the Tories have now lost 2 elections in the space of just 12 months. Surely this puts a very big question mark over your position as leader.
Yes, but the circumstances of the past year have been quite extraordinary. The Labour Party's barely been able to form a government.
Nonetheless, they do now have an overall majority.
Of 3. This government depends for its existence on the minority parties.
Let me try and pin you down. Are you saying that you can ignore the open talk among many Conservatives that you should go?
Yes, I can.
Well, let me take the
no,
point
you
a little bit
can't.
further. Around Westminster, there is a lot of talk.
I was surprised, to say the least. You turning a shadow post down? Industry not your bag?
I earn more money at the bank.
Oh, with respect, Charles, pull the other one. No, either you're after something more significant or you're putting some distance between yourself and Lindsay.
Why should I do that?
The knives are out. If Lindsay has to stand for re-election, we all carry a knife. Or a shield.
My loyalty to Lindsay is as strong as ever.
Really?
Look, why don't you come and have some lunch at my club?
I'd love to, Charles, but Hillary's got one of her meetings at 1:30.
I thought you didn't like the woman.
She can be pig-headed. But having worked with her in education, I've learned to respect her.
So, you finally joined her hen party after all. You do surprise me.
Actually, it's quite an interesting setup. Peterson, Kerslake, Codrington.
Kerslake?
Oh, I think he's just a curious bystander.
That's one thing Kerslake will never be. All he's ever dreamt of is getting to number 10.
Morning, alarm clock. How are you?
Okay. I'm a great big monster and I'm going to eat you up. Morning. Morning. What would you like to do today, Should we go and see where Daddy works? Shall we? Darling? Is that still all right if we come and see you at the Home Office?
Yeah, can you leave it until this afternoon? The morning's solid with meetings.
Yeah, we'll be there, won't we?
Pimlico, sir?
How long have you been waiting?
Not long. The law courts are more predictable in Westminster. Look on the back seat. Happy 40th birthday.
How did you know?
Elaborate piece of detective work, and there it was.
Where?
The Sunday Times birthday column. In a week during which only the mediocre were born. You made it.
Blue shirt. A blue shirt?
Compensation for not being in the new cabinet.
I could never wear this.
And what's more, you'll wear it.
You even know what I'm thinking.
That's because you're so predictable.
Come here. Thank you.
Champagne and sex in the afternoon? The National Executive would never approve.
Why do you always make a joke of our relationship?
I have to.
Why?
Because I'm frightened of what might happen if I take it seriously.
Oh, don't be. You're the best thing that's happened to me in all of my life.
That's what I'm worried about.
There, I think that's straight.
Yeah, looks good to me.
Oh, only the skirting's to do then. I hope Ray likes it.
Yeah, if he stops long enough to notice.
You think he'd be home for his birthday?
He's not exactly working 9 to 5 in a butcher's shop, you know. Perhaps he'd rather forget his age.
Look, I was thinking of going by the White Hart later on. Maybe stopping by Caesar's. Why don't you join me?
I've got to go to this young socialist thing.
Oh, look, they'll be all right. You can't do a race job all the time. What do you say? Table for 26, fluorescent lights, scampi in a basket. How about it?
Smooth talker.
Well, you deserve a night off.
I shall have to wear these things, one at a time. Otherwise, people will get suspicious.
Of what?
Well, you don't change your appearance overnight without good reason.
Such as?
Such as somebody entering your life to change it for you.
Everything is returnable, including me, if that's what you prefer. Now, where shall we go to celebrate? Annabelle's?
Oh, no. I can't afford to be seen at Annabelle's.
With me, you mean?
No. It might be all right for the Eurobond manager of the Manhattan International Bank, but it's no good for a socialist.
If members of the Labor Party are not allowed to indulge in a good meal, then perhaps it's time you changed parties. Hell, in Washington, the Democrats go to the best restaurants.
Well, perhaps that's not such a bad idea. Perhaps I should change parties. Become a Tory.
Would anyone notice?
Oh, nasty.
I'm being serious. What have you been up to in the house lately?
Not a lot?
Precisely. It's about time you did something positive before your colleagues in Parliament forget you exist.
Such as?
You tell me.
Well, since you ask, I'm not very keen on these industrial democracy proposals.
Getting workers onto management boards, you mean?
Yes, the T&G are very keen, but I think it's a great mistake. Seriously damage the union movement in the long run. And it's a legal labyrinth.
Well, do something about it. Now, where should we go for dinner?
The Dorchester, I think. Did I miss something?
I wouldn't know. That's not from me. Aren't you going to open it?
Later.
Well, good night again, Charles, and thank you for a wonderful evening. And thank your wife also. She's a superb cook.
You mean our cook's a superb cook?
Well, it needs a good employer to bring out the best.
I trust you'll discover that the same applies to me. Good night, Clive. I'll see you on Monday.
Good night, Charles.
Good night. Well, what do you think of him?
Who?
Reynolds.
He lacks charm, but he's nobody's fool.
That's why I hired him.
For how much?
50,000 a year.
It's 10 more than you get.
No, he's going to earn every penny. I didn't bribe him away from Hamburg so that he can stare out of the window.
Well, he was a damn sight more interesting than that silly little thing that Mark brought.
Do you think he's sleeping with her? She can't be a day over 18.
Of course he is. Probably more sleeping than doing. It's his middle-aged fantasy. You'll be like that one day. Teenage girls with small bottoms and minds to match. Why did you invite Geoffrey?
I wanted to know Lindsay's mood regarding the leadership.
Well, why not invite Lindsay?
I don't want to get too close at the moment.
You think he's a lost cause?
No, he'll survive. If there isn't a serious contender who'll oppose him.
Are you saying that there isn't one shadow cabinet member who has the guts to stand against him?
Well, they're all beholden to him in one way or another. But if they stood against Lindsay and lost, then he'd never give them a job again. Never.
So you all lie down with your paws in the air?
But there's a rumour that Hilary Turner will act as a kind of whipping girl. If she can get close enough to force a second ballot, then the serious contenders will join in.
What if she wins the first round?
Don't be silly, Fiona. The Tory party would never elect a woman to lead them.
I thought you left.
I had, but I found these tickets in the car. We've been parking in Chelsea a lot recently.
All right, I confess. I've been seeing another woman.
Morning or afternoon?
Both. She's insatiable. And unfortunately, she's very married. It's Hilary Turner.
Oh, the school milk lady.
Oh, she's likely to be more than that. Challenging Lindsay for the leadership.
And you're backing her?
Yes.
Well, does she stand a chance?
Well, most Tories would probably say no at the moment, but I think she could win on a protest vote.
You're taking a bit of a gamble, aren't you?
It's always a gamble. I won't get promotion from anyone else. I've made my commitment too clear.
And what if she loses?
Tories were the first party to choose a Jewish leader, the first to select a bachelor. So why shouldn't they be the first to elect a woman?
And the results of the first ballot are as follows. Hilary Turner, 130. Henry Lindsay, 119. Hugh Phipps, 16. As you know, the committee rules that the winner needs a 15% majority. The second ballot will be held in 7 days' time.
Sorry, Henry, we'll reverse the decision next week.
He's withdrawn.
I don't believe it.
Lindsay's withdrawn from the second ballot, Charles.
He's thrown it away.
Yes.
Dear Hilary, I made no secret of backing Henry Lindsay in the first round of the leadership contest, having had the privilege of serving in his administration. But I was delighted to support you on the second ballot. It illustrates how progressive our party is, that we have chosen a woman who will undoubtedly be Britain's next Prime Minister. Be assured of my loyalty. Yours, Charles Seaton.
Simon Kerslake. Yes, Hilary. And thank you. Shadow Minister for Education. Oh.
I shall miss you when you go to Blackpool.
I might not bother.
You're not serious.
What would I accomplish by being there?
You'd be seen to be alive. Raymond, you must develop your contacts with the unions.
Why?
If you're going to get anywhere near the leadership, you've got to have the unions behind you. One day, the Labour Party might just select their leader at the party conference, like in the States.
Well, whether I like it or not, the election of the leader will always remain the prerogative of the parliamentary Labour Party.
That's the kind of crass, short-sighted statement I would expect from a Republican. Not unless you agree to go to Blackpool.
Oh, there's a Greek play about a woman like you refusing her man her favors.
And if you remember it correctly, it was because the woman had the best interests of the man at heart.
Like going to Blackpool.
I bet you haven't even read any of the motions that are going to be debated.
Yes. Yes, I've glanced at them.
Then you may have noticed that Woodford Brett is calling on conference to demand that the next leader be chosen by an electoral college of all the constituencies, the trade union movement, and Parliament. I suspect in that order.
Oh, what do you expect? He's married to an American.
Today's extremist is tomorrow's moderate.
American generalization.
Benjamin Disraeli, actually.
Surprised you could get away from the Home Office. Things are a bit tense, yes. The Birmingham pub bombing's changed everything. I mean, it's totally indiscriminate. We can't even guess at the full extent of the campaign, especially now it's moved outside London, of course.
Hello, Ray. See you there tonight.
Yes, I'll see you. Good.
Am I missing something?
I'm speaking at a fringe meeting, Industrial Democracy.
Uh-huh. Broadening your power base, Raymond.
What do you mean?
Well, these fellas are flexing their muscles. You could be the trade union's new pin-up boy. If Brett has his way, the unions will eventually choose their leader. God help us if it happens in our day.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world, Andrew.
It would be for middle-of-the-road Democrats like me.
Compared with Brett, I'm middle of the road myself, practically right-wing on some issues. Somebody once called me a Republican, would you believe?
Well, I just hope Adrian Woodford Brett's harebrained schemes stop right here.
Well, we'll see. He is the darling of the conference.
Here's that. Well, perhaps you will be. One of these days.
And in conference this morning, they told us that industrial democracy will mean an end to old-style confrontations between union and management. That trade union representatives sitting on the board would have access to and a say in such crucial decisions as the relocation of factories and the deployment of new technology. Now, all this sounds very well. Admirable, even. But what does it really mean? What happens, for example, when a union is in dispute with its management? Well, I'll tell you what happens. You have a situation, breathtaking in its absurdity, of a union representative sitting on either side of the negotiating table. And let's go even further. What happens if a board is discussing cutbacks? And what if these cutbacks involve redundancies? If you have trade union representatives sitting on the board, where do their loyalties lie? And in conclusion, just let me say this. When the Tories started waving the big stick, the National Union of Mine Workers stood up in solidarity against them and brought them down. Now, they've got long memories, these Tories, and we've got to prepare for battles ahead, but not within the timorous and divisive terms of industrial democracy. The way ahead for our movement is what it always has been, and is best described in the words of the oldest and mightiest axiom known to trade unionists everywhere. United we stand, divided we fall.
Come in. Good morning, Charles.
Morning, Clive.
I've been making a check on every customer account with loans over $250,000.
Any particular reason to do sit down?
Thank you. When you've handled a company account for many years, it's sometimes not apparent when one of the traditional companies is heading for trouble as it might be to a newcomer. If we have any lame ducks, let's discover them before they hit the ground.
Yes, well, that's one way of putting it.
There are three major accounts to consider. I'm worried about the spending policy of one of the companies. The other two seem quite stable. I think we should go over them together when you have time, perhaps tomorrow morning, if you could manage that.
Yes, of course. What are the companies?
It's Spayward Laboratories, Blackis Limited, and Nethercott and Company. It's Spayward I'm worried about. So I'll leave the files with you, and when you've read them, we can talk again.
Thank you, Carl.
Archie, surely you'll remember them. Holroyd Park in Mason.
Diana, if
They
the
used to
conversation
call
gets
themselves
too
the
boring, we
Tories.
can always go and watch upstairs, downstairs.
That has never been the same since Lady Bellamy went down with the Titanic.
I thought that was Henry Lindsay. Oh, Henry didn't go down. He was pushed under.
By a woman, too. You know, I don't think he'll ever forgive her for that.
I wonder what effect she'll have at the next election.
Rather depends on who's PM at the time.
Oh, do you know something we don't?
I think Bainbridge is getting bored, that's all. He's losing his enthusiasm for politics. He's been at the top a long time. Next year he'll be 60.
Well, that isn't old.
No, but Labour is not the party of his Camelot days. Not even one party anymore. At the moment, the militant left are more than just an empty threat.
Bainbridge has only himself to blame. He gave the unions everything they wanted without thinking of the consequences. Is it surprising that the Trots, the other extremists, take advantage of the situation?
Alec, you're just as extreme but in the other direction. If you were PM, you'd reintroduce hanging at Tyburn.
That didn't detract from the genius of Pitt and Walpole.
Oh, so that's how you see yourself, Alec?
Absolutely. Pitt, Walpole, Pimkin, the giants.
I was planning to tell you this when you were next in Kent, but I see no reason why I shouldn't say it now.
What's that?
I've decided to give up being chairman at the end of the year.
Oh, Archie.
Why?
Well, I've seen you elected and settled in. It's time for a younger man to have a go.
Archie, you're the same age as I am. I'm damned if I'll draw a pension yet.
I'm not retiring from life. I just want to spend a bit more time with my electronics company. The board are constantly reminding me how I neglect them.
Well, I was sad to lose you. Just as you get to know someone in politics, you or they always seem to move on.
Fear not. You'll be a member for at least another 20 years, by which time I shall be happy to accept an invitation to dine with you at number 10.
I'm flattered by your confidence. But you might find somebody else there instead of me.
Such as?
Come on, Simon. Who do you consider your biggest threat? Apart from myself, of course.
Oh, Hillary, obviously,
No,
has a head start.
I don't mean now. I mean in the future. Whom amongst the Tories do you see as your biggest rival?
Well, I don't like after-dinner games.
Oh,
but,
I do.
What does it say?
Let me guess. Charles Seymour?
What do you know about Nethercote and Company, Clive?
It's a private company, net asset value of around 20 million, running a current overdraft of 7, of which we serviced half. But it's efficiently managed and should get through its current difficulties and be oversubscribed when eventually it goes public.
How much of Nethercote do we own?
The maximum we're allowed under the Finance Act without declaring an interest.
7.5%?
Yes.
Who are the principal bankers?
Midland.
What would happen if we put up our 7.5% for sale and called in the overdraft facility at the end of the quarter?
Well, they'd have to seek finance elsewhere.
And if they couldn't?
Well, then they'd have to sell their assets, which would not only be extremely damaging, but in the current climate almost impossible.
And then?
Well, they do have a cash flow problem caused by bad debts.
Yes, so I've noticed.
Well, with sudden increased demand, they might well go under. But I'd strongly advise against such a move. Nethercote have proved a reliable risk over the years, and I think we stand to make a handsome profit when they're quoted on the stock exchange.
But I've heard otherwise. Clive, I fear remaining involved with this company could turn out to be a financial embarrassment for Seymour's. Inform the Midland Bank that we will not be renewing their loan at the end of the next quarter.
Well, that will force them to seek support from another bank.
And dispose of our 7.5% immediately.
You do realize, Charles, that this will create a crisis of confidence in this company.
So be it.
Yes, but...
That'll be all, Clive. Get me Norman Lovell, will you? Norman, Charles Seymour. I wonder if you could do me a small favor. Of course, I appreciate that you have to protect the privacy of your customers' accounts, but this is strictly confidential and it does affect both our banks. Yes, I understand. The name of the account is Simon Kerslake.
Well, that's me had the tanks.
Ah, my setting room! Cease fire! What time do you have to get back?
About 3/4 of an hour.
Oh, right, we'd better eat now, then. Robert, sweetheart, can you put the cushions back on the sofa? Now?
It really is about time we move. This place is too small for Action Man in there.
Would be awfully nice to have our own garden.
Well, I'm sure I could find 3.5 spare minutes a week to mow the grass. I'll tell you what, I'll stay at home and do the cooking. And you go and work at the Home Office.
No thanks, I like to keep out the firing line. Oh, darling, is it very hard work at the moment?
Well, it's been better since the Prevention of Terrorism Act, but you've still got to keep your wits about you. We might get some nasty phone calls. Just ignore them.
I done it. Have you done it? All right, let's go and see what you've done. Come on.
Oh, Robert.
Right.
They've pulled the rug out from under our feet.
Who?
Our bank.
Why would they do that?
An outside shareholder put all his stock on the market without warning, and they got worried about their position. They're not prepared to continue such a large overdraft position on their own.
Have you been to see the manager yet?
Yeah, but he can't do anything. His hands are tied by a main board directive.
How bad is it, Ronnie?
They give me a month to find another bank. Otherwise, I'll have to start selling off some of our assets.
What will happen if we don't manage to come up with another bank?
The company could be bankrupt within weeks.
I think you owe it to me to tell me how much you're involved with Nethercote.
It's not Ronnie's fault. If it's anyone's, it's mine.
Are we in trouble financially?
Deep trouble.
How much? How much?
£108,000.
The Midland weren't pleased.
They'll get over it. What's the latest on Nethercote?
Rumours only, but now everybody knows they're in trouble and that the chairman is searching for a new backer. His biggest problem is that nobody is touching property companies at the moment.
If the company collapses, what's to stop us picking up the pieces and making a killing?
A clause slipped into the Finance Act, which was passed by your government 3 years ago. We could have our banking licence taken away.
Pity. How long do you expect them to last?
Well, if after a month they haven't come up with a new backer, the creditors will swarm in like locusts.
Are you sure you're doing the right thing?
It's not a question of what's right or wrong. There's no alternative.
But do bankrupts automatically have to leave Parliament?
No. But I shall, because I could never be considered for further promotion. I'd always be tainted with lack of judgment.
You weren't personally to blame.
There are different rules for those who wish to live in the spotlight.
Surely in time.
I am not willing to remain on the back benches for another 20 years, only to hear it whispered in a corner of the smoking room. He would have made it in the cabinet if it hadn't been for his...
Does that mean the children will have to be taken away from school?
I can hardly expect the receiver to view the fees for my son's education as a dire necessity. But if I could find the money, we may have to sell the house. I'll have to tell Archie Milburn as soon as possible. Hand in my letter of resignation. And I make an appointment to see the Chief Whip.
Is there nobody who can help?
There are not a lot of people around with a spare £108,000 for a worthless bunch of shares.
Look, darling, we shall just have to live off my salary. We've done it before. We can do it again.
Yes, it's been happening to a lot of good people in the city lately. But what I can't understand is, if the company owns such prime properties, why has no one made a takeover bid? Sounds as if it's an asset stripper's dream.
It appears to be a matter of confidence. Sacred word in the city. This is my letter of resignation.
I wouldn't mention this to anyone until you've seen the Chief Whip on Monday. I'll call a special meeting of the full committee on Tuesday evening and inform them of your decision then. You'd better be prepared for an unfriendly barrage from the press on Tuesday night. Your misfortune is our misfortune. In a very short time, you've gained the respect and affection of the local people. You'll be missed.
Difficult to get into your committee hearings, Raymond. Oh. You're attracting a lot of attention. Changed your tailor as well, I see. Spring in the air?
Not exactly.
Have you seen Dempster's column today?
No, why?
Dear Nigel says that our beloved Prime Minister will definitely resign in 3 months.
Well, he's not even a lobby correspondent.
Oh, he knows Alice, though, and nobody knows Bainbridge better than she does.
Oh, why should she tell Dempster?
Well, it's a nice tactic, isn't it? Leak it to someone whom no one will believe and everyone reads. It gives George a chance to deny it, and you know how he likes to deny the inevitable.
Yes, he loves the games.
I'll bet you a tenner it's true.
Speculation is increasing at Westminster that the Prime Minister, Mr. George Bainbridge, will resign on his 60th birthday.
Hello, Raymond Gould. Oh, yes, I know. Yes, I know. All the ministers have handed in their resignations. Yes. I hope it's Hollander, too. Yes. Yes, all right. All right, good night. Sleep well. Bye-bye. That was Joyce. She wanted to know if I knew that George has resigned. She must think I'm living in a cave.
I don't think it was because of that. It's after midnight. She doesn't usually ring you at this hour.
No.
You think she suspects?
Well, there was something in her voice. Probably something in mine, too.
Would it alter things between us?
What if she found out? Well, if she found out, too bad. I'd probably be relieved. Forget it.
Well, I can. Can you?
Well, she hasn't been too worried recently if I haven't been in Leeds.
I bet she is. And so am I.
Why?
Because it's your constituency and you ought to be seen there more often. Especially now that you're going to have a new leader of the party. Your chances of getting ahead could depend on it.
Well, it depends on more than that.
Whatever. It's your career that matters more than anything else, including me. Our affair will end one day.
Oh.
But if... Raymond, I share one thing in common with your wife. We both know that at heart, we don't come first. If that phone rang and you were offered a job as foreign secretary and you had to be on the first plane to Outer Mongolia, you wouldn't even wait to say goodbye.
No, that's not true.
Ray, I love you. But if that ever happened, there's nobody that could be happier than me.
You ready? Here I come, here I come. Okay, ready? Go! 35 mil. Check it straight back. Come on.
Do you want me?
Uh-huh, come on. Hang on just a minute. Okay. That's the way.
When did you get this message?
Half an hour ago. We told Downing Street you were in court.
That's good. Well, that's the longest summing up I've heard in my life.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh. Wait a minute.
It's only Douglas. He wants to know if Hollander's rung you yet.
Right. Come on.
Okay, that's fine. We'll do $1 million, and that's less too. And value date is going to be the 27th. Yeah, we'll safe keep. Thanks very much, and I'll get back to you on that other matter we discussed. Bye. Kate Hamilton. Raymond.
You're speaking to the new Minister of State at the Department of Trade. One step away from the cabinet.
Andrew! It's the Prime Minister.
I'll get it.
No! Leave it!
Suffer the little children to come unto me, saith the Lord, and forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of God. For as much as it has pleased Almighty God to take unto himself the soul of this child Robert here departed, we hereby commit his body to the ground, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. In sure and certain hope of resurrection to eternal life, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
How is she?
She's the same.
Whatever happens, you must move out of that house as soon as possible. Every time Louise looks out of the window, she'll relive that tragedy.
Well, we're looking anyway. The place is too small. Well, it was too.
And what are you going to do about the Prime Minister's offer?
I don't know. He's given me till Monday to come to a decision.
You must take it. If you don't, your political career will be finished. You can't sit at home mourning Robert's death for the rest of your life. Oh, the worst of it is that she can't have another child.
Has Louise not spoken at all?
Not a word. Can't you talk to him, Douglas?
Hollander will wait. He's not that insensitive.
We're talking about the Ministry of Defense, not some backroom posting. Oh, I know we're all broken-hearted. But politics doesn't wait.
I know. I'll see what I can do.
Louise? I need your help. The Prime Minister's offered me a job, and I want to know whether you think I should accept it. It would obviously affect us both, and he's asked me to be Minister of State for Defense. It's a big promotion. I couldn't have asked for more. I want to know how you feel about it. Do you think I should take it? It wouldn't be the end of the world if I said no. There's always another time.
I still wish we could have gone to the funeral.
So do I. They wanted it as private as possible. It certainly puts our own problems into perspective.
I'm going to be late for the clinic.
Can I give you a lift?
No, thanks. I intend to save the joys of being a two-car family for at least another week. Let's hope the new marina holds its price as well as Michael Edwards claimed it would.
Ronnie. That's kind, Ronnie, but I went into this with my eyes wide open. As an advocate of free enterprise, I can hardly complain when I turn out to be one of its victims. Thanks for calling, Ronnie. Goodbye. Ronnie thinks he can get out of this with the creditors fully paid. At least he'll avoid the stigma of bankruptcy.
Are you getting nervous about a relationship?
What?
I said, are you getting nervous about a relationship?
No. Why?
I just wondered. After all, you're practically in the cabinet now.
Having a mistress is written into the manifesto. Palmerston had a mistress when he was 70. He still managed to beat Disraeli in the election.
I hate the word mistress. Sounds like a kept woman.
Well, you're certainly not that. You earn more euro dollars than the Prime Minister.
Did the public know?
What?
The ones who voted for Palmerston.
Oh, yeah. Lots of people knew. Apparently, Disraeli said, don't spread it about or he'll sweep the country. But then we didn't have checkbook journalists in those days. We're more Victorian than the Victorians.
It wouldn't take a Woodward or a Bernstein more than a couple of hours to uncover our little secret.
Oh, well, don't worry. I've destroyed the evidence.
Be serious.
You're always telling me I'm too serious.
Well, I want you to be now. Very. Am I a risk for you?
You wouldn't be if you were my wife.
You're not being serious.
Yes, I am.
Haven't you forgotten that you're already married?
I get a divorce. The marriage is dead. I love you.
We've been over this before. It wouldn't work. I have to return to the States eventually. And besides, I'd make a very bad Prime Minister's wife.
3 American women have succeeded in the past. It's Labour Party policy for an MP to marry an American, especially a rich one.
Don't talk about it like that. I love you, but how can I be your wife? I'd hate Leeds.
You've never been there.
I don't need to if it's colder than London.
I used to think that being Prime Minister was worth any sacrifice. Now I'm not so sure.
You will be when you move into number 10.
If.
When?
Good morning, Mr. Kerslake. I'm afraid the Chief is still with Mrs. Turner, but I did remind him of your appointment, so I don't expect him to be long.
Thank you.
I hope I find you in rude health, Mr. Kerslake.
Very rude, thank you.
Oh, I should have mentioned to you before. Mr. Nethercote rang.
Thank you, I've spoken to him already.
It's been 1 minute, Simon. 1.5 if you're going to resign.
It's for you, Mr. Kerslake.
Can you take the number?
He says it's very urgent.
With you in a moment. Simon Kerslake here, who is it?
It's Ronnie again. Have you seen Big Brother yet?
I'm just about to.
Thank God I got to you in time. Listen, I've just had a call from Morgan Grenfell. One of their clients has made an offer of £1.25 a share for the company, and are willing to take over the current liabilities. Double are trying to work it out. At £1.25, your shares will be worth £75,000.
It won't be enough.
Don't panic. I told them I wouldn't settle for anything less than £1.50 a share, and it's got to be within 7 days, which will give them plenty of time to go over the books. Now, that's going to bring you up to £90,000. Well, you'll still be 18,000 down the Swanee, but you can live with that.
Ronnie, you're a genius.
Not me, Morgan Grenfell, and their unnamed client is going to make a bloody handsome profit.
Well, who the hell could he be?
God knows, Simon, but we've got a good angel somewhere. He's not only kept the company alive, he's also kept you, your job. See you later.
Simon, I hate to do this. We have a crisis over tonight's vote, so could we put this meeting off for another time?
It wasn't that important, Chief. In fact, let's cancel it altogether. Mwah. Cheer up, Alec. What do you think you're so miserable for?
I couldn't be more delighted. I can retire in peace.
You can tear out that letter, Archie. You've got me for another 20 years.
Oh, if I knew who the Good Samaritan was, I'd send him a crate of champagne.
I'm sure he'd appreciate that, but save your money.
Have you told Elizabeth yet?
I'm just going to.
Good. Then I'll see you both here this weekend, as usual. Yes.
Fine. Bye.
Bye.
Give me the figures again. Nethercote has accepted a bid of $7.5 million, which works out at about $1.50 a share.
Damn.
I agree. But then I've always thought we were premature in giving up our position in the company in the first place.
That's an opinion you will not express outside this room. Now, what about Nethercote himself?
Well, I'm told he's starting up again in a small way. Morgan Grenfell were delighted by the deal and by the way he handled the company during the takeover. I must say we let it fall into their laps.
Can we get any stock in the new company?
I doubt it. It's only capitalized at $1 million, although Morgan Grenfell has given Nethercote a large overdraft facility as part of the deal.
Well, all that remains necessary is to make sure that the matter is never referred to again. Understood?
I've reserved the seats, and I've booked us a table at Luigi's after the show. Donald says chorus line's terrific. I'll be back by 6 at the latest. You look fantastic.